Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. You might be standing there wondering why your life isn't moving as fast as you think it should. Why the bills are piling up. Why the relationship hasn't come together. Why your dream job still feels out of reach. I'm here to tell you this. God's timing is perfect. You see, we live in a world that wants everything fast, instant gratification, but God works differently. He's not in a rush. Sometimes what you see as a delay is actually a setup to make sure that when your blessings arrive, they come in the fullness of His plan. Nothing, and I mean nothing, can interfere with what God has written for your life. Not your past, not your failures, not the people who doubted you. If God said it's yours, it's yours. You just have to trust the timing. Stop worrying about what's not happening yet and start preparing for what is coming. Because when God shows up, it's bigger than anything you could have imagined. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you today about something that I know is heavy on the hearts of a lot of people sitting out there. I know you've been waiting. I know you've been hoping. I know you've been praying, believing, and sometimes even begging God for things to happen in your life. You've been looking around, seeing other people succeed, seeing other people live out their dreams, seeing other people get that job, that promotion, that relationship, that business deal. And you're asking yourself, why not me? Why is it taking so long? Well, let me tell you something. You've got to learn to trust in God's timing. I know that's easier said than done, but if you can grasp this one thing, if you can really understand that God's timing is perfect, your whole life is going to change. See, we live in a world that wants everything fast, instant this, instant that, instant gratification. We live in a society where if something doesn't happen immediately, we start to panic. But let me tell you, God does not operate on our timetable. He operates on His own perfect schedule. And sometimes that schedule doesn't make sense to us. Sometimes it feels like He's late. Sometimes it feels like He's forgotten. Sometimes it feels like He's not listening. But I want you to know, He's never late. He's never forgotten. And He's always listening. Every delay, every setback, every no that you hear, every closed door you run into is not a denial. It's a divine delay, a divine pause, a divine setup for what's coming next. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever gotten something too soon and realized later it wasn't ready for you? Maybe it was a job. Maybe it was a relationship. Maybe it was an opportunity. If God had given it to you then, you wouldn't have been ready. Then you wouldn't have been ready. But because He held it back, you grew, you matured, you became the person who could handle it, the person who could appreciate it, the person who could steward it properly. That's the beauty of God's timing. It's not about rushing to get something. It's not about rushing to get something. It's about being prepared to receive it when the time is right. And when that time comes, oh, I promise you it's going to blow your mind. Now, I know some of y'all are sitting there thinking, Steve, that's fine in theory, but I've been waiting a long time. And I hear you, I feel you, I understand. But here's what you have to realize. Waiting is not wasted. Every day you waiting, every moment you're being patient, Every challenge you face while you're waiting, it's all part of God's plan to shape you, to refine you, to build your character, and to prepare you for what's next. If you want to see the full glory of God's plan, you can't rush it. You've got to learn to be patient, to trust, to believe, to stand firm, even when everything around you seems uncertain. Let me give you an example. Think about Joseph in the Bible. Joseph had dreams. He knew God had something big for his life. But did it happen overnight? No. He was thrown into a pit by his own brothers. He was sold into slavery. He was falsely accused. He was thrown into prison. Can you imagine how long that must have felt? But he didn't give up. He didn't quit. He trusted in God's timing, and when the right time came, God elevated him above every person who had doubted him, above every obstacle, above every enemy, and placed him in a position of power where he could save nations. Joseph's story is a perfect example that God's timing is perfect. Your story is no different. Sometimes what you see as a delay is actually a preparation. Sometimes what you see as a closed door is actually a setup for a bigger opportunity. And sometimes what you see as a no is really a not yet. You've got to change your mindset. You've got to stop looking at your life through the lens of impatience and disappointment and start looking at it through the lens of faith. Start saying to yourself, God's got this. I may not see it now. I may not feel it now, but I know his plan is unfolding and it cannot be stopped. Here's another thing to remember. Your past does not determine your future. Just because you failed yesterday, just because someone doubted you yesterday, just because some circumstances looked impossible yesterday, it does not mean that God's plan for you has changed. It has not. Nothing can stop what God has planned for your life. Not your mistakes, not your setbacks, not your disappointments, not your fears. Nothing. God's plan is unstoppable and his timing is perfect. And here's the key. While you're waiting, don't just sit there. Grow, learn, prepare. Get yourself ready for what's coming. If God is going to bless you, he wants you ready. If God is going to give you the opportunity, he wants you to be skilled. If God is going to give you favor, he wants you to be humble and grateful. Waiting is not a passive time. Waiting is an active time. It's a time to get ready, to get stronger, to get wiser, to align yourself with the vision God has for you. So I want you to leave here today and make a promise to yourself. I want you to stop looking at your life and comparing it to others. I want you to stop worrying about how long it's taking. I want you to stop worrying God's timing. Instead, I want you to trust. I want you to believe. I want you to know deep down in your soul that nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what God has planned for you. And when you combine that trust with patience, preparation, and perseverance, there's nothing in this world that can prevent you from living the life God has designed for you. So don't give up. Don't get discouraged. Don't let fear or doubt take root in your heart. Trust God's timing. Prepare yourself for the blessings that are coming. Stay faithful. Stay patient. Keep your eyes on the prize and watch how God's perfect plan unfolds in your life. Because when it does, you will see, just like Joseph, that nothing can stop what God has for you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real. I want you to hear me today, because this is where a lot of people get stuck in life. I'm talking about doubt and fear. Oh yes, fear and doubt. Those little voices that sneak up on you when you're trying to move forward. Those whispers that tell you, you can't do it. You're not enough. It's too late. You too weak. I know them well. We all know them. Life throws them at you in different ways. Maybe it's the fear of failure. Maybe it's the fear of rejection. Maybe it's the fear of the unknown and doubt. Doubt will try to make you question God, question your calling, question your worth, question your dreams. It's subtle, but it's dangerous. It can stop you before you even take the first step. But let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop God's plans for you if you refuse to let fear and doubt control your life. I want you to think about fear for a moment. Fear is a liar. Fear is not your friend. Fear wants you to stay small, stay quiet, stay in your comfort zone. Fear wants you to settle. Fear wants you to look at your dreams and say, maybe next year, or I'm not ready, or I'll try later. But let me tell you, every time you listen to fear, you're stepping away from your destiny. Every time you let doubt creep in, you are pausing what God has already ordained. You see, God didn't create you to shrink back. He didn't put that vision in your heart just to watch you play it safe. He put it there because he knew you could handle it. He put it there because he wants to see you rise. But fear and doubt will try to make you forget that, and they will try to make you settle for less. And I know how real it can feel. Doubt will whisper in your ear, you don't have the talent, you don't have the education, you don't have the money, you don't have the connections. And fear will jump in and say, you might fail, you might get rejected, people might laugh at you. I get it, I've been there. We've all been there. But let me tell you something. God's plan doesn't care about your excuses. God's plan doesn't care about the naysayers. God's plan doesn't care about your fear. What God cares about is your faith. What God cares about is your willingness to take that step even when you feel scared. What God cares about is your courage to move forward despite the doubts swirling in your mind. You see, fear and doubt are part of the test. They are part of the journey. And here's the truth. The only way to overcome them is to face them head on. You cannot run from fear. You cannot hide from doubt. You got to confront them. You got to say, I know you're here, but I'm not listening. I know you're trying to hold me back, but I'm moving forward. I know you want me to give up, but I'm pressing on. And here's the thing. The moment you do that, something powerful happens. The moment you refuse to bow to fear and doubt, you are stepping into the power of God's plan. You are telling the universe, I am ready. I am ready for what God has for me. Think about some of the greatest people you admire, the people who changed the world, the people who have changed the world, the people who achieved great things. Do you think they never had fear? Do you think they never doubted themselves? Absolutely not. They had fear, they had doubt, but they didn't let it stop them. They kept going. They kept pressing. They kept trusting in God's plan. And that's what separates the dreamers from the doers, the believers from the quitters. Fear and doubt are temporary. God's plan is permanent. Fear and doubt are voices of limitation. God's plan is limitless. And when you focus on Him, when you align yourself with His purpose, you start to say, that nothing can stop what He has for you. Now, here's the other thing. The enemy will try to make fear and doubt look convincing. He will make you think, you're too late, you're too weak, you're not ready. And sometimes it feels like it's true. Sometimes it feels like the whole world is stacked against you. But I want you to know the same God who parted the Red Sea, the same God who made the blind see, the same God who raised the dead, He's the same God working in your life today. And if He's for you, who can be against you? If God has put a dream in your heart, nothing, I don't care how big it is, nothing can stop it. So, what do you do when fear and doubt show up? You fight them with faith. You fight them with action. You fight them with prayer. You fight them with the Word of God. You remind yourself every day, God's plan for me is unstoppable. God's plan for me is bigger than my fear. God's plan for me is stronger than my doubt. And you keep moving. You keep stepping. You keep believing. Because the only thing that can truly stop God's plan is if you give up. And I don't know about you, but I'm not giving up. Let me tell you something else. Doubt and fear will try to isolate you. They will try to make you feel like you are alone, like nobody understands, like nobody sees your struggle. But you never alone. God is with you. He has been with you every step of the way. And sometimes He allows fear and doubt to show up just so you can see how strong your faith really is. You see, when you overcome fear and doubt, you are not only stepping into your destiny, you are growing into the person God designed you to be. You are proving to yourself and to the world that nothing can stop what God has for you. I want you to refuse to let fear and doubt control your life any longer. I want you to step out in faith, even. If your legs are shaking, I want you to pursue your dreams, even if the odds are against you. I want you to trust God, even when you don't understand the timing. Because here's the truth. Nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop God's plans for you when you refuse to let fear and doubt have a seat at your table. Your breakthrough is coming. Your blessing is coming. Your victory is coming. And all it takes is faith, courage, and the refusal to be stopped. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to get real with you today. Life is not easy. Nobody ever said it was. And if you think that walking the path God has laid out for you is going to be a smooth, straight road, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Trials are part of the journey. Struggles, setbacks, disappointments, heartbreaks, they're all going to come. And I don't care who you are, what you've done, or how much faith you have, trials are going to test you. But let me tell you something very important. Trials are not there to stop you. Trials are there to shape you. They are there to refine you. They are there to prepare you for the greatness that God has planned for you. Every trial you face is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that God is working on you, that he is building something inside you that the world needs to see. Now, I know some of y'all are sitting there thinking, Steve, I've been through so much, I'm tired. I feel like giving up. I feel like throwing in the towel. I get it. I understand. Life can be heavy. Problems can pile up. You can get knocked down over and over, and it seems like there's no end in sight. But here's the truth. Every trial has a purpose. Every challenge has a lesson. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Joseph was sold by his brothers, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. That was his trial. But because he persevered, because he didn't give up, because he stayed faith, God elevated him to a position where he could save nations. Your story is no different. Your trial today can be the testimony tomorrow. Your struggle today can become the strength you share with the world. See, perseverance is not just about surviving. Perseverance is about thriving in the midst of difficulty. It's about refusing to quit even when everything around you is saying you should. It's about getting up one more time than you've been knocked down. It's about believing, even when it looks impossible, that God's plan for you cannot be stopped. You may not understand why certain things are happening. You may not see the reason behind the pain, but trust me when I tell you that God has a purpose in every challenge. He is using it to grow your character, to deepen your faith, and to equip you for the blessing that is coming. Let me be clear. Trials are not punishment. They are not a sign that God has forgotten you. They are not an indication that you are failing. Trials are a natural part of the journey to greatness. If you are going to achieve anything significant in this life, you are going to have to face adversity. You are going to have to face adversity. You are going to have to walk fire. You are going to have to endure storms. But here's the secret. Storms don't last forever. Hardships don't last forever. Pain doesn't last forever. Pain doesn't last forever. But the reward on the other side of perseverance is eternal. The reward is God's plan coming to fruition. The reward is your life being transformed in ways you never imagined. And here's another thing. Trials are often disguised blessings. You may not see it now, but every obstacle you face is a stepping stone. Every difficulty is training you for what's next. Every challenge is preparing you for the assignment God has for your life. You can't skip this process. You can't take shortcuts. You have to go through it. You have to do it bold. You have to trust that God is at work even when it doesn't make sense. And when you do that, when you hold on, when you persevere, something amazing happens. You begin to see the hand of God moving in your life. Doors open, opportunities arise, relationships are restored, dreams are fulfilled, all because you didn't give up. Let me give you a real life example. Look at people who have overcome the impossible. Look at people who have overcome the impossible. Look at the people who started with nothing and built empires. Look at the people who faced betrayal, poverty, illness, and loss, yet refused to quit. What sets them apart is not that they didn't struggle, It's that they persevered through their struggles. They trusted God. They stayed faithful. They kept working, kept praying, kept believing, even when it seemed hopeless. And that is exactly what you have to do. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Steve, I don't know if I have the strength. Let me tell you something. Strength comes in the struggle. Courage comes in the fight. Faith grows in the fire. Every trial you face is an opportunity for you to prove to yourself and to the world that nothing can stop what God has for you. You may feel weak, but God's power is made perfect in your weakness. You may feel small, but God's plan is bigger than your fear. You may feel defeated, but God's victory is waiting for you on the other side of perseverance. And remember, perseverance is a choice. You can choose to give up, or you can choose to keep going. You can choose to be defeated by your trials, or you can choose to let them make you stronger. You can choose to focus on your pain, or you can choose to focus on your purpose. Every time you choose to persevere, every time you choose to trust, every time you choose to keep moving forward, you are one step closer to living the life God designed for you. So today, I want you to take a moment and make a decision. No matter what you are facing, no matter how hard it seems, no matter how long it takes, you will not quit. You will not give up. You will not let trials define you. You will persevere. You will trust God. You will keep moving forward. And I promise you, when you do that, when you hold on and refuse to let go, you will see the power of God's plan in your life. You will see doors open that you never thought possible. You will see blessings flow that you never imagined. You will see dreams come true that you thought were lost. Your trials are not your end. They are your beginning. Your struggles are not your defeat. They are your preparation. Your storms are not your stop sign. They are your signal to keep moving forward. And if you can do that, if you can persevere through the trials, I promise you, nothing can stop God's plan for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to get real with you right now, because this is the point where a lot of people get stuck in life. You can pray, you can dream, you can hope, but if you don't act, nothing will change. Faith without action is dead. God gives us direction. God gives us vision. God gives us dreams, but He expects us to move. He expects us to step. He expects us to do our part. I know some of you are waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect set of circumstances. But let me tell you something, the perfect moment doesn't exist. The perfect opportunity comes to those who are prepared to move, to take action, to step out in faith, even when they don't see the whole path. You cannot sit on your dream and wait for it to knock on your door. You've got to get up, put your shoes on, and go after it. See, a lot of people think that faith is passive. They think faith means sitting around and hoping things will happen. That's not faith. Faith is active. Faith is a decision to trust God and then move in the direction H. E is pointing you. Faith is saying, I don't have all the answers. I don't see the whole road, but I trust you, Lord, and I'm stepping forward. That's faith. And here's the thing. When you combine faith with action, when you align your steps with God's plan, Doors will open, chains will break, opportunities will appear, and your life will change in ways you never thought possible. Now, let me give you an example. Think about Abraham in the Bible. God told him, leave your home, leave your country, go to a place I will show you. And Abraham didn't know where he was going. He didn't have a GPS. He didn't have the map app. He just had God's word, God's direction. And he stepped out. He acted on what God told him. And because he did, God blessed him beyond measure. That's how it works. God gives you instructions, gives you guidance, gives you dreams, but he expects you to move. He expects you to step out. He expects you to act in faith. And when you do, nothing can stop what God has planned for you. I know some of you are scared. You're scared to start that business, scared to make that call, scared to apply for that job, scared to change that habit, scared to confront that situation. But let me tell you something. God does not give us a spirit of fear. He gives us a spirit of fear. He gives us a spirit of power, love, and self-discipline. Fear is not from him. Fear is from the enemy. Fear is there to make you stay stuck, to make you stay stuck, to make you stay small, to keep you from stepping into your purpose. But faith will push you forward even when you're afraid. Faith will make you take the step even when it doesn't feel safe. Faith will get you moving even when doubt and worry are screaming in your ears. Action is where your dreams start to become reality. You can have all the faith in the world, but if you don't act, nothing happens. I know people who sit around and say, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. But they don't do anything. And months go by, years go by, and nothing changes. You've got to act. You've got to move. You've got to step toward your dream, toward your vision, toward the life God has called you to live. Even small steps matter. So even imperfect steps matter. God can take your small act of faith and multiply it into something enormous. But you have to start. You have to act. You have to move. Think about it like this. God's plan is unstoppable, but he uses your hands, your feet, your decisions, and your efforts to bring it to pass. He doesn't drop everything into your lap without your participation. He wants to see your willingness to partner with him. He wants to see your faith in action. He wants to see you taking steps, making moves, doing your part, and trusting him to do his part. Because when you do that, that's when the miracle happens. That's when the doors open that nobody else can open. That's when the people show up who nobody expected. That's when your vision begins to come alive in ways you never thought possible. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Steve, I'm waiting for confirmation. I'm waiting for everything to line up perfectly. And here's what I want you to know. Waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. Waiting is preparation. Waiting is planning. Waiting is taking the steps that you can take right now while trusting God for the rest. Don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for everyone to agree. Don't wait for fear to disappear. Step out in faith. Move in the direction God has pointed you. Do what you can do today and God will handle what you cannot. Faith without action is like a car without gas. You can have the best engine, the best tires, the most beautiful car, but if there's no gas, it's not going anywhere. Faith fuels your actions, and your actions fuel the fulfillment of God's plan in your life. That's how it works. You act, God works. You step, God moves. You trust, God provides. It's a partnership. And if you refuse to act, you will never see the full power of what God has for you. So today, I want you to make a decision. I want you to stop waiting for someone to give you permission. Stop waiting for a sign that may never come. Stop waiting for the fear to go away. Start now. Start moving. Start stepping. Start taking action on the dreams, the vision, the calling God has placed in your heart. Your faith will guide you. Your action will propel you. And together, they will unlock doors, break chains, and bring God's unstoppable plan into your life. You may not see the whole picture. You may not understand every step. But if you take that step in faith, God will meet you where you are. He will show up. He will provide. He will guide, and He will guide, and He will guide, and He will make sure that nothing can stop what He has planned for you.